So, let's talk about a question that gets everyone excited. Who can defeat Doctor Doom? Sentry, Hulk, or Iron Man?
Wow, what a topic. Intense. I love these comparisons. Each character has their own tricks, right?
Exactly. When we talk about Doctor Doom, I'm thinking the guy isn't just technology. It's magic, power, strategy, and a lot of charisma. A real threat in the Marvel Universe.
Ah, yes, I agree. But why not start by comparing the strengths of our three contenders? Like, Sentry, Hulk, and Iron Man are so different in terms of powers and abilities, right?
Right? It's as if each one represents a different aspect of what we need to face such a complex villain as Doom. Sentry is like almost omnipotent, with immense strength and resilience and cosmic energy that he has. It usually makes people think, can he control everything?
Yes, but there's that detail that Sentry sometimes loses control of his own strength, right? So, his balance can be a double-edged sword.
Exactly. On the other hand, Hulk is usually seen as this immense brute force, an uncontrollable rage that only increases. The angrier he gets, which can be an advantage or disadvantage, depending on the situation.
And of course, Iron Man brings all his genius and advanced technology. But he often relies on equipment and tactical planning.
Yes, it's like being the brain on a battlefield dominated by brute force and magical powers. But, here's the question. Can Tony Stark's technology and intelligence neutralize the mystical and physical powers of the Doctor? Doom?
I think that's one of the most heated discussions. Doom has arcane knowledge that can, surpass simple technology, even advanced one, which makes Iron Man have an uneven fight in this battle, in my view.
But just think, Tony has already faced enemies considered beyond the ordinary. He can prepare strategies and preemptive traps to bypass Doom's mystical defenses, perhaps neutralizing the hybrid.
I agree, yes. Yeah, but what about Sentry? I mean, the guy has almost divine strength. If he dedicates himself, he can overcome Dr. Doom with a single blow or a display of power that would be beyond the villain's comprehension.
Exactly. But look, Dr. Doom is a strategist and a sorcerer. He can, create magical barriers or manipulate energies to contain powers as extreme as Sentry's. It's like tying a knot on a dinosaur that won't stop roaring. It's not that simple.
I see. Interesting analogy. And then we have the Hulk, who might be the most unpredictable of the three. The Hulk can be a marvel in terms of sheer physical strength. You could say he's like a walking earthquake, but does he have the cunning to deal with magic and strategies?
Well, the Hulk doesn't need to be cunning. He usually solves everything with punches, but that can be both a blessing and a curse. Doom can foresee his brute fury and with a bit of magical preparation, deflect or neutralize the attacks. It's a classic dilemma, brute force versus strategic mind.
So, basically, each one has their strengths and weaknesses. But tell me, do you think the Avengers' Doomsday context influences this analysis?
Yes, absolutely. In a Doomsday-type scenario, the environment can be chaotic, with extreme challenges, and everything gets amplified. Imagine a battle where every mistake can be fatal. In this context, perhaps Iron Man's adaptability really shines, but also the visibility of the Hulk can be decisive.
Exactly. And don't forget about Sentry. With his almost unlimited powers, he can change the game in unexpected ways, right?
Absolutely. But here's a criticism I want to raise. Many argue that Sentry is practically a god, and that sometimes takes the excitement out of the confrontation. I mean, if he goes too far with that level, the narrative loses a bit of its focus, don't you think?
I understand. Yes, I think so too. A very uneven battle might not provide that suspense the audience loves so much. So, in that regard, maybe Iron Man, with his human vulnerability and genius, creates a more exciting balance.
Exactly. And it's worth remembering that Doctor Doom is not a conventional adversary. He has a mix of strategy, magic, and a personal history full of conflicts, which makes him so complex. That's why no confrontation is simple.
Yes, each character has their own universe and set of rules. When we mix, for example, Doom's magic with Iron Man's science and technology, the dynamic becomes very interesting.
For sure. And if we think in terms of narrative, imagine the tension of seeing someone like the Hulk fighting against magical barriers or the Sentry having to deal with strategic traps.
Absolutely, yes.
A clash of titans, but also of styles, right?
But look, I have to disagree. A little. Even with all the magic, I think the Hulk's destructive power can be something so simple and impactful that, in a scenario of total chaos, he would be able to break through any magical defense.
I understand that perspective, but think about the more calculating side of Dr. Fate. He's not just about magical defenses. He also has strategic knowledge and the ability to manipulate situations. Therefore, the Hulk might be able to break through physically, but perhaps he wouldn't be able to solve the part involving logic and manipulation.
I agree. But it's a risky move, isn't it? The Hulk can be like an elephant in a china shop, brutal and unpredictable, but with the chance of causing irreparable damage. Whereas Iron Man plays in the field of precision and planning.
Exactly. It's as if we're witnessing a battle between brute force, almost omnipotent power, and strategic intelligence. And that raises the question of who can defeat Dr. Doom. An endless debate where the answers can vary depending on the scenario.
I agree. So, to summarize, if the environment is extremely chaotic, the Hulk might have the advantage. But if there's room for elaborate strategies, Tony Stark might surprise us. As for Sentry, despite his almost infinite power, he can end up being a double-edged sword, depending on how well he can control his own strength.
That's right. And Dr. Doom stands out precisely because he's the wild card in this deck, manipulating the resources he has to transform the battle according to his needs.
And that's where things get really exciting, right? Each confrontation opens up space for analysis and debate. It's almost like watching an epic chess match with superpowers.
Exactly. And imagine a situation where, for example, Iron Man discovers a loophole in Dr. Doom's mystical defenses using an ultra-advanced device, while the Hulk creates a monstrous distraction, or even Sentry, trying to balance his own aura of power with his responsibility.
Sensational, really. It's a contest of possibilities. But if you had to bet now, who would win?
That's the big question, right? I think that, without a doubt, Dr. Doom, he's a formidable opponent. If he's prepared and uses his tricks well, he can turn the game against anyone.
I partly agree with you, but look. If it's a battle of sheer brute force, the Hulk could absorb the attacks. Or the Sentry could, disintegrate his defenses with his almost unlimited power.
Yeah, but remember, Dr. Doom also has a brilliant strategist's mind. So, I think the answer depends a lot on the context and conditions of the battle. It's always a chess game, with various strategic moves and unforeseen events.
True. And maybe what makes this discussion so interesting is precisely this uncertainty. Each character can win, depending on how the story unfolds.
Exactly. And it's this mix of powers and strategies that keeps fans completely fascinated. It's like having a box of surprises where the next move can change everything.
And thinking about the future, imagine the possibilities for these narratives in movies and comics. Each confrontation can be approached in a unique way, with different scenarios and twists.
Yes, the richness of the Marvel Universe is this diversity that allows us to dive into debates like this for hours, always, discovering new angles.
In the end, I think it doesn't matter so much who will win. It's the entertainment and the mystery that these battles bring to the Avengers universe. And that's what makes Marvel comics and movies something inexhaustible in terms of debates and theories. What an iconic duel, huh?
Without a doubt.
Thanks for this lively chat. It's always good to dive into the debate of these legendary confrontations, don't you think?
And for sure, until next time, and remember, the answer might be between the lines of the comics and in the imagination of each fan.